Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am so excited to be on your screen. Like, this video has been a long time coming. Every single time I sit down on this chair to shoot a video, something goes wrong with that video. But today we will shoot that video whether the devil likes it or yes, say hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay, like I said, thank you so much for coming to this channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And as you can see from this title, we are talking about my fibroid slash myomectomy procedure here in Nigeria. Yes, and it being in Nigeria is the major reason why I'm shooting this video. Few months ago, when I wanted to do this procedure, I searched and searched for a procedure like this here in Nigeria. I didn't see. I was just seeing procedures of people that had done it abroad, outside the country, and of course their process, their procedure is definitely going to be different from what we will go through here in Nigeria. And that's the major reason why I'm doing this, just to encourage you out there in case you want to do this or you're searching for a content like this. And yes, this video comes with some pictures and videos from the actual procedure, so stick around.
You as you drive. Do you know I'm looking?
Welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. So it means that you really want to watch this video. Start giving it a thumbs up. Okay, so where do we start from with this gist? Well, let me just start from how I found out I had fibroid. I found out I had fibroid sometime in 2018. Yes, 2018. And it was very random. I went in for a digestive problem, and during the physical exam, you know, they were like, check you physically. They found a mass and they were like, I think this is a fibroid, but we didn't really pay much attention to it because that was not what took me to the hospital. Fast forward to when I took my leave later that year, I decided to go do a scan. I did a scan just to confirm, and yes, they confirmed that it was a fibroid, but I still didn't do anything about it because it was really small at the time, and I was just busy with work and my life and everything that I didn't have time for it. And then few months after that, I started talking marriage talk. My husband came around and I got married. Yes, I got married sometime in 2019, very early in 2019. And I also still didn't bother about it because my work didn't even give me time for myself, not to start talking of something that is not really giving me an issue, because it wasn't giving me an issue then. I wasn't symptomatic or anything. So fast forward to later last year, in January of last year, I was like, you know what, I have to go and take this out. And basically what prompted me to go and take it out was people don't mind their business. That is just the truth. People just don't mind their business. So at this time, there was a pouch already showing. It started growing. I was like, started growing, and people started talking. I was like, congratulations, this, that. You know, the people talk, people don't mind their business. So people were just talking. And I was like, you know what, I have to go and check this thing out and take it out. This one that is growing at this pace. So I went to the hospital, and then they didn't just diagnose me with fibroid. They now said I had adenomyosis. That is a story for another day. And I didn't even have adenomyosis, but them saying that I had adenomyosis stalled my process of me taking it out at that time. Because adenomyosis is completely different. It's when your lining of your womb is now growing inside the muscle of your womb. But I didn't even have it. But it stalled it down, and then plus pandemic came up, so the whole process just stalled down till November of that same 2020 of last year. I was like, you know what, I have to take it out because more people were talking and it was becoming to annoy me. I can't wear a proper dress. I have to wear big clothes just to hide it and all that. So I started making research for hospitals here in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt, because I live in Port Harcourt, River State, Port Harcourt, on how to, the hospitals that I could go to and all that. And then I found another hospital because I couldn't go back to that one that they were telling me adenomyosis wahala. I just didn't want to. So I went to this other one and they said, okay, it's just a fibroid and they'll take that. And yes, that was where they found out that it was just a fibroid. There was no adenomyosis. These people just wanted to stress me out. But thank God, I finally was scheduled for December of 15th was now my date. I did everything, all the process and everything. December 15th was now scheduled for me. So on the 14th of December, I went into the hospital. I was checked in the hospital because they have to run some tests on you and all that. So I went to the hospital. They ran some tests on me and all that. Then the next day, I barely even slept. I didn't sleep. And I was having a cold prior to this day. But I'd already booked the date, and I wanted to get it done before I get to 2021. I wanted 2020 to die with anything called fibroids. That morning, I woke up really early.
Hi, good morning. So today is the 15th of December 2020. Yeah. And I'm in the hospital room. We've woken up about like an hour and a half ago, almost 2 hours now. Since 4:30 we've been up, and this is like past 6 or thereabout. We're up, and today is the big day, the big day. I barely slept at night. I was just coughing all through. Like I was choking on my own saliva, I think. I don't know. I was coughing all through, so woke up quite early, and now my husband is taking a shower, and I'm just chilling. I'll have to take a shower now, and then yeah. After shower, then I think the doctors will come. I'm just, anxious kind of. In the next few hours, or maybe the next time I even hold my phone. I don't know when I'm about to go in chat. So that's it for now.
I was already getting anxious and all the rest. And the doctors didn't come in on time. They came in really, really late. Considering when I woke up as early as waiting for them, even my mom-in-law came all the way from Aba. At the time, my mom was around already. My husband was around, of course, he checked in with me. He slept with me that night and everything. But they didn't come early. So by the time the doctor finally came, the gynecologist have been saying, by the time he finally came, he came in and told me that he will not be the one to do my procedure. And I was very upset because he had an emergency C-section that morning. So that was even what delayed them, the emergency C-section. I was so upset that they changed the doctor because he was the one I was already talking to. And yes, when you want to go in for a procedure like this, make sure you speak with your gynecologist extensively on what you want to achieve from, because they can remove a fibroid in a location that should not be removed if you're trying to have children later on in the future, okay? Or a hysterectomy can be done or stuff like that. It's always good to just discuss with your doctor. So I've already discussed with him, so I was so upset. He was like, I shouldn't bother. The person that he's handing me over to, he has explained to him and everything. I was like, but me, myself, I need to speak to him. But that was fine. He left. After a while, the nurse came in. She was the nicest nurse. She was so nice. So she just talked to me. She gave me a little pep talk, excused everybody from the room, and then inserted the catheter. That's that pee bag thing. It was very uncomfortable. Inserting that thing was so uncomfortable, I must tell you. But she inserted it, and then shortly after, she called everybody inside. I was like, it's time for me to go to the theater. Do they want to escort me? And of course, yes. So my mom-in-law and my husband escorted me, but not everybody got to the end. Only my husband escorted me down to where I had to be, where I had to wait. Every other person went down because it was close to the ICU and patients were there, and you're not even supposed to come in and out the ICU, like, so they told them to go back. So it was just my husband that was with me. At this time, I was wearing the robe and the hairnet, and he was just with me, and we're just making fun of each other. Like,
guys, look at me now, looking like one. What do I look like? Look at me trying to look pretty for the camera. Anyways, I'm going in very soon. I have this inserted now. See, I'll be taking a picture like I'm doing wrongly. I have this inserted now, the pee bag, whatever they call it. Then I'm dressed in the robe, and of course this one. I'm just sitting and chilling and waiting for them, but it's getting so real. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. I'm just trying to be dramatic right now. Well, the operating room is just by the corner.
I was anxious and nervous, but I just had to do all those things just to keep my mind off what was about to happen. I was really close to the theater, so we just stayed there for a while. And after a while, like maybe 10-15 minutes, a nurse came to get me, and she was like, it's time to go. So my husband gave me a hug. I was like, I'll see you very soon and all the rest. I was scared though, but I couldn't show I was scared now. My husband could also show that he was scared. So he gave me a hug, and then I went. At this time, I was thinking the theater was just very close. So it wasn't close. I had to walk a distance knowing that I was wearing only a robe. And you know that robe is only a rope that is at the back. It was embarrassing. But I walked to the theater. By the time I got to the theater, at this time I've not yet seen the surgeon, the gynecologist. So immediately I entered the theater, I was like, please, where is the gynecologist? And then we're like, madam, what of us that are here now? You now answer first. I was like, okay, oh yeah, sorry. Please, who are you? So he now introduced himself that he's the anesthesiologist. Every other person introduced themselves. I'm the nurse, I'm this and that. Like, okay. So I sat down on the operating table. It's actually a table. I used to think that thing was a bed, but it is a table. Just a stuffed table, a table that is comfortable somehow, but it is a table. So I sat down on the table. Then he inserted my IV. Yes, he inserted my IV. Then he put what's it called? This blood pressure patch here, this automatic blood pressure thing, and the one that was also checking my temperature and all the rest. Then the next thing was for them to give me that injection that will numb me from my pelvic down to my leg. So you sit down, you put your shoulders down, you put your legs straight out and your head bent down. So he was just talking me through the process, what I'll feel and all the rest. The next thing, he has choked me. By the time he choked me the injection, he gave me the injection, I didn't feel it. When he inserted the needle, I didn't feel it. What I felt later on was the fluid. When he was inserting the fluid, oh my God. No, it's not pain. That thing wasn't pain. It was pressure. It was pressure, like load. It was heavy pressure. Like, you know when you want to carry something that's very heavy? That pressure, that was what just fell on my waist. It felt like a ton of load was dropped on my waist. So I screamed and I held it. He was like, no, just stay still. I managed, I stayed still, and then it passed. It didn't stay long, just like maybe a few seconds. It wasn't up to a minute, and it passed. And then it passed, he laid me down. I lay down flat, and then said, okay, while all this was going on, the surgeon had come in and we had talked, and he was the nicest surgeon. We were just laughing and talking. So I was explaining everything to him, like I should not worry. Say, you self, don't worry yourself. I'm here for you. This and all that. So after I laid down, those anesthesiologist started touching my leg. I was like, what are you feeling? So I was feeling a shocking sensation. I was like, okay, that's fine. After a while, he now said, okay, can you raise your leg up? I said, no, I can't. It was so heavy. I tried to, but I couldn't. It was so heavy. It was like they buried my leg under bricks, under plenty bricks. Sorry, someone is running downstairs. Sorry about that. So I couldn't raise my legs. But he was like, it's fine. So that means it's okay. So everybody surrounded my table. It was time to start. And then the surgeon now said a prayer. I was so happy that he was the one that said a prayer. Everybody said amen. The nurse was just by my bedside. She was just sitting down here. And I was really cold. So they had to put blankets on my hand. They exposed the other part of my body that they were not working on. They had to put blankets on it and on my chest, I think. Yeah, on my chest, yeah. So after a while, I started feeling a pain in my chest. So I said, I'm feeling a pain in my chest too. So they called the anesthesiologist back that I'm feeling a pain. He should do something. So he gave me a gas mask. Like, after everything I've given you, why should you be feeling pain and all that? It was so funny when he came in. But he now gave me a mask. It was gas that was coming out of the mask to wear. So I just wore it. Just like, I don't know how to explain. But this gas was so sweet. Oh my God. But then I put it on my face. Then he wore it. I was just testing it down in my throat. So it was just too sweet. That thing really calmed me down. The next thing I knew was when they were already finished, I started feeling my legs. That was why I was conscious now. Not that I wasn't conscious, but I don't know. I think I was somewhere else, you know. So I started feeling them stitch me up. I was like, I can feel the stitch. Why am I feeling this? So I told the nurse, I can feel the stitch, but it's not painful, but I can feel you stitching me. So they said, why? Call the anesthesiologist again. So they said, anesthesiologist said he was going to put me to sleep. We were like, no, don't put her to sleep. We are already through. So I just mustered up and stayed all through. It wasn't paining me though. It wasn't paining. I was just feeling them stitching. You know when you feel a stitch, but it's not painful. So when they were done, covered me up, they put the plaster and everything. Immediately they were done, I just turned to the surgeon. I was like, please, how many did you remove? Is everything okay? Am I fine, you know? And then he was like, madam, you ask questions. Are you a nurse or a doctor? I said, I'm not. I just did a lot of research. I was like, oh, that's good. It was like, I shouldn't bother. That what is removed is in the bucket. When I come down, I will see it. So they put me on a stretcher and wheeled me to the ICU. And then wheeling me to the ICU, the first person I saw was my husband. I was so happy that the first person I saw was my husband. Then I saw my mom. Then they put me on the bed on the ICU. But I was still connected to quite a lot of things. And then at this point, I was really cold. Like I was so cold. I don't know, maybe because the theater was too cold and they opened me up, so maybe cold that entered my body. The actual definition of cold entering your body. I was shivering. So this is me here. I just came out of the theater. I'm in the ICU and I was so cold, hence all this cover up. I just managed to put up a smile just so my husband could take a picture of me.
You should come out. You should come out.
So shortly after, I started feeling this urge to throw up. Like I needed to just throw up. I had not had anything to eat the previous day. So why was I having this urge to throw up? So I told the nurse that I need to throw up. So she was like, you can't throw up and all that. So I was like, okay, what can I do to relieve it? So she said, okay. I said, okay, can I get a pillow to raise my head up? And she gave me a pillow, which was wrong. At the time, I was very grateful to her that she gave me a pillow. So she gave me a pillow, he elevated my head, and I was so happy and so excited. I was happy with her and everything. It relieved the pain, it relieved the urge to throw up. I was okay. Shortly after, my incision started paining me. I started crying. Only my mom was there at the time, in the ICU, because they were not letting people come into the ICU like that. So my mom was there at the time. So I was crying. I was telling my mom, Mommy, I can't do this. The pain was terrible. It was terrible. I was crying, saying, Mommy, I can't do this. My mom said, you can't do this in Jesus' name. You can't do this in Jesus' name. So she called on the nurse. Like the nurse come and give me some. So the nurse came and she gave me pentadosine. So that subsided the pain. Whilst I was still in the ICU, I had people coming in and out just to see me. My mom, my mom-in-law, my husband, and my sister-in-law. So anytime they come in to see me, although they were not letting them come in, but once in a while they just had to come in to check on me to know how I'm doing. So anytime they come in, I'll move my head from the left to the right just to see them, and I wasn't supposed to be doing that. But later on that evening, the other nurse that changed that other nurse came in and was like, why are you using a pillow? You're not supposed to use a pillow and all that and all that. I was like, bad belly have come. Bad belly have come. Meanwhile, I didn't know she was the one doing me good. She was like, you're going to have a spinal headache if you use a pillow. You're not supposed to. So she removed the pillow. I was so upset that she removed the pillow. But she removed the pillow. After that, I got through the night. Yeah, I got through the night. But I could barely sleep because the blood pressure thing that they put on my hand will always wake me up every 30 minutes to check my blood pressure. To squeeze me, squeeze your hand to check your blood pressure. And the ICU nurse kept changing something, kept coming around just to check on us that were in the ICU. We were like 3 or 4 in the ICU that day. And I got through the night. The next morning, it was the first time for me to stand up on my 2 feet after operation. Oh God. it was helele. Because they had to clean me, and of course they had to change the pad on the bed, because after operation you will be bleeding from down there. So there was a pad on the bed to help absorb the blood. So I needed to stand up, to change it and also clean me up. Oh God. Standing up, it wasn't funny, but I had to. When I got up, it was like all my bones were just doing it was so painful. I got up, I felt like I was going to fall down back. She was like, just sit down, just sit down, just sit down. So I sat down on the chair close to me. She cleaned me up completely and put me back on the bed. Few minutes or an hour later, my husband came. It was time for them to move me to the ward. So when they came out, they put me on the wheelchair. When they put me on the wheelchair and my head was sitting upright, I was like, you know what? That throw up, I wanted to throw up since, I'm gonna do it now. Nurse, can I get a bowl? So like, oh, you're not supposed to because you're not supposed to because of your freshly cut incision and all the rest. But like, you know what? If I don't do it now, I will do it on all of you. So she got me a bowl, and it was so painful because I had to hold my tummy so tight like this so that I don't rip my incision. So after I threw up that one, so they wheeled me to the ward. Immediately I got to the ward, I threw up again. My first 24 hours after, it wasn't joke. It wasn't.
So hi guys. Wow, this is me.
Okay, so at this point, I'm sure you can barely hear me or even see me clearly because I was so tired. This was 24 hours after my procedure, and you could see it in my face that I was worn out and exhausted. I was really, really exhausted because I had not even had anything to eat yet.
I was still hooked up to drinks because I couldn't take down anything.
I threw up again what looked like blood. Before I'll say Jack and Rob and sin, my whole room was filled up with nurses and doctors left, right, and center because they were surprised. How can someone that just came out of the theater be throwing up this much and throwing up something that looked like blood? It was later on that one of the doctors now came in to check and was like, oh, maybe I'm reacting to a drug. And what I was reacting to was flagyl and pentadosine. I wasn't swallowing, I wasn't taking anything at this time. All my injection and everything was intravenous because I was still hooked up to a line. So everything was intravenous. My first 24 hours was not funny. And at this time, I started having that spinal headache. It started from somewhere here, my neck, to my head.
Today is Thursday after my operation. My operation was on Tuesday and today is Thursday. My decision is really good. I think it's really well. I'm having a serious spinal headache and the nausea is still there. I still have the nausea and I don't know. This is my room as usual. Everybody around this time, everybody goes out. I practically just ate pap today for the first time. Yeah, that's my update for today. I had just pap. Is the room cold? It's cold?
By the next day, I couldn't move my head to the left or to the right. My neck could not carry my head any longer. The only comfortable position was lying down. Even I complained and complained to them, but they were like, they can't give me another medication because I was already pumped with a lot of pain meds. They were like, they are not supposed to give me another one. It was later on, one of the doctors now came in, was now like, okay, I can take beverages high in caffeine, that it will help. So I started taking coffee and Coke. I took a little Coke, but I took more of coffee. And it really helped. But I just wasn't finding it funny. It was so painful. My incision wasn't giving me problem at the time. The head was just really paining me. So after a while, I was like, no, this cannot continue. My mom keyed into it. My mom was like, no way. My mom came that evening. My mom was around. My mom prayed for me. She prayed heavily for me. I told my husband to pray for me. My husband prayed for me. I also prayed for myself, and I believed that the next day it was going to go. The next day it didn't go. Of course, it won't go. Not of course, but it didn't completely go away. But instead of me depending on my husband to clean me up or help me stand up from the bed, I started doing those things myself. I got up, I was doing those things myself. There was this Christian song I was singing, and I can't remember the name, but if I remember, I'll leave it on the screen. I was singing it, so it helped me to get through it. I just managed. I just mustered up the courage and continued just doing one or two things myself, moving my neck to left and right. But it was still so painful. They had to send in a physiotherapist to come and massage my neck. So he came in, he massaged my neck and gave me a cream. So now, while this was now subsiding, it's like it was just from one thing to another. While the neck, not that the neck was gone, but I was just getting through the neck pain and I was ready to go home. My incision started his own wahala. Now, I was now reacting to plaster. God, my body. I was now reacting to the plaster. So I now had a blood patch. You know when you hit your hand somewhere, there's a blood that circulates under it. So you can see a blood patch. So I had a blood patch on one side, a big one. And it started paining me so badly. So they had to remove the plaster. And when they finally removed the plaster, that day I cried. Oh, God. I cried my eyes out. I was like, I can't do this again. I don't know what is going on. My husband was so angry. He made a problem that night. He went and called everybody. The nurses and all the rest, they came in and they finally removed the plaster. But it was good. Once they removed the plaster, my incision had already really closed. So it was okay. All I had to do was to start cleaning the site with this alcohol spirits, and cotton wool. So that was just what I started doing. But the pain was becoming annoying. So the doctor was like, he doesn't understand this one again. Oh, should they do a scan? Like, I can't even bear a scan because I couldn't even touch that area. And it was just one area that was having this problem. But finally, I stayed in the hospital for a week. I was supposed to have left the hospital after 4 days, but I stayed in the hospital for a week because of one pain or the other. But finally, it was time for me to leave the hospital. I was so happy. I couldn't be happier. Like, I was so happy. Yes, I forgot to add, I started eating by the 4th day or 5th day because of the nausea feeling. I couldn't still eat, but by the 4th or 5th day, I started eating. It's not like I didn't want to throw up, but I just had to start eating. Like, I was now very hungry. I just had to start eating. So it was time for them to discharge me. I was so happy they discharged me. I went home, yes, and then I came home, and then I started having the wife guilt. So I had this guilt of I had to clean this, I had to lay my bed, and so I started doing one or two things. And then also because of one side was still hurting me, was still paining me, I had to be sleeping on only one side. I couldn't move my body. My body was in so much pain, like it was in so much pain. That first week, my body was in so much pain, so I couldn't move so much. I had to always be sleeping on one side. So because of that, that side started opening up. I had to go back to the hospital, but they didn't stitch me back. They just had to put a plaster over it. Although my body was reacting to plaster, so after like a day or two, I ripped the plaster off. And yes, and my incision closed on its own. My incision now is so good, and I am so happy that I went through this procedure. I am fibroid free. My tummy is looking good. It's flat. It's not flat, like it can't be 100% flat now. We in Nigeria, we don't know how to have a flat stomach, but it is better now. It is so good. My incision has healed properly. This is 4 months after, and I'm looking good. I am so grateful that I did this procedure. Like, really, I am so grateful. I've lost weight. After that, and I look so good. Or like before, I was looking so fat and bloated and everything. I'm not bloated anymore. I have lost weight. I am looking good. It was the best decision, really. It's the best decision to go ahead and remove your fibroid surgically. Leave all those things that they say, go and drink this, go and drink this, go and drink that. It doesn't, it's just like this medication called Zoladex, because there is this medication that they give you if your fibroid is too big. They give you a medication that shrinks the fibroid just so that it's easier for them to take it out. That's just what all those agbo and all the rest, that's what they do for you. They just shrink it. It doesn't completely take it out. That's why you hear that, oh, the fibroid grew back and all that and all that. It's because maybe they didn't completely take everything out, or you were taking medications to just shrink it down. So if you know anybody that wants to take out their fibroid, or you yourself you want to take out this fibroid, let this video be your encouragement. Go ahead and do it. Just do it. You will be glad that you did it. You will be 100% happy that you did it. Okay? If I left out a lot of things because this video is already seeming a bit long, but I'll leave my email in the description. You can send me an email if you want to know the hospital I did it in, any details or information about the hospital, the doctors and everything. You can send me an email. My email will be in the description box. Leave me a comment if you have any other questions that you want me to answer. Leave me a comment. I'll be glad to answer it. And yes, give this video a massive thumbs up. A massive thumbs up. If you're here in Nigeria and you're thinking you don't want to do it, please just go ahead and do it. Send me a message and I'll be your encourager. Yes, I will be your encourager. I'll be the one to encourage you. If you need it, I am here for you. So just chat me up, send me an email like I already said, and I'll be there to answer all your questions. It's a wonderful procedure. I don't even know how else to say it. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. I don't know if you can see the joy in me, but it's a wonderful. I don't know if I've shown you the fibroid, but if I've not, I'll leave it somewhere here now so you can see it. You can see how big it is. Yeah, so please give this video a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to this channel. This channel is a growing channel, so please subscribe, share this video, and every other good thing that you have to do to a video on YouTube, please just do it to this one. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. For now, bye.